You're not ungrateful. You're awake. This is the Dignity Room, a place that's always yours. Come in.
Notice what you do the moment it goes quiet. The kids are finally asleep, or maybe your partner, husband, significant other, whatever. The house or your apartment is still. There's nothing left on the list that has to be done tonight. A rare, open pocket of silence. And within about 30 seconds or something, you've reached for something else. So, like the phone, the TV, maybe a podcast. So, even this one. Something to put into the quiet, something to fill it. You probably tell yourself you are just relaxing, unwinding, and partly that's true. But there's another part, a part you might not say out loud, even to yourself, which is that the silence, when it gets too quiet, feels not quite safe. Like if you sat in it long enough with nothing playing, nothing scrolling, nothing to do, something would surface, something you've been keeping at bay. So you fill it quiet. So you fill the quiet. And of course, you always fill the quiet, and it works. The thing stays down, but it costs you more than you know. And today, gently, let's look at what you've been filling the silence to avoid. So we spent the last few episodes learning to hear yourself again, catching your first answer, trust your own read, instead of asking anyone else. So there's something underneath all of that, something that has to be faced before any of it can fully land. And it's this. Hearing yourself requires being quiet enough to listen. And for a lot of us, quiet is the one thing we've spent years carefully avoiding, right? And I want to say something about busyness that doesn't get said often enough. We usually talk about it as something done to us, the demands, load, never ending list, and a lot of it is, but some of it isn't. Some of it we choose, not consciously, but we choose it. We keep ourselves busy because busy is safe. As long as you're moving, doing, fixing, scrolling, you don't have to feel the thing that's waiting in the stillness. And busy is a hiding place. A respectable one, of course. Nobody questions us who's always doing something. In fact, they admire us. So it's the perfect disguise. You get to avoid yourself, and anyone calls it dedication. Today is about what you are hiding from and why meeting it is far less dangerous than avoiding it has become. Okay, let's be honest about what's actually waiting in the quiet. Because the fear isn't of silence itself. Silence is just a room. The fear is of what's in the room when nothing else is. And usually it's one of a few things. So sometimes it's the question we started this whole show with. Is this it? The quiet is where that question lives because the quiet is the only place it can be heard. Fill your life with enough noise and you can outrun it for years. But the moment everything goes still, there it is, patient as ever. Or sometimes it's grief, not always for a person, more like it's grief for time, for the years that went by while you were functioning, for the version of your life you thought you would be living by now, or for parts of yourself you set down so long ago you can't quite remember where. That kind of grief doesn't announce itself. It just sits in the quiet, waiting to be acknowledged. And yeah, sometimes it's a longing you can't even name, a sense that something is missing or that something in you is unlived, unexpressed, still waiting. And it doesn't come with words, it comes as an arch. And arches are very hard to sit with when you don't know what they are for. And yeah, so you fill in the silence. Of course you do. Who wouldn't? I mean, everyone does. Sitting alone with an unnamed grief or an unanswered question or a wordless longing, that's genuinely hard. Reaching for your phone isn't weakness, it's a completely understandable way to avoid pain you were never giving any tools to. But here's the thing about feelings you won't let yourself feel. They don't leave. They don't go away. They wait. And while they wait, they don't sit quietly. They leak. They come out sideways as the tiredness sleep won't fix, as the irritability, as the flatness, as the low background hum of something not right. The feeling you won't feel directly doesn't disappear. It just finds a way to reach you. So now here's what I really want you to understand, because the whole reason you avoid the silence is a belief, usually unspoken, that if you let the feeling in, it would overwhelm you, that it's too big. Or that if you started crying, you might not stop. That if you really let yourself feel the grief or the longing or the question, it would swallow you whole. That belief is the thing keeping you running, and it isn't true. So here's what's actually true about feelings, even big ones. A feeling that is genuinely felt, allowed in, acknowledged, giving a little room, moves through. That's what feelings are built to. They rise, they crest, and if you let them, they pass, even the big ones, especially the big ones. A wave that's allowed to break is a wave that recedes. What doesn't move through is a feeling you refuse to feel. That's the one that stays forever in the worst part. That's the one that runs in the background for years, draining you, leaking out sideways, quietly running your life from a room you won't enter. So, the math is the opposite of what you think. You avoid the feeling because you believe feeling it is the danger. But feeling it is actually the release. The danger, the real ongoing expensive danger is the avoiding. The avoiding is what costs you years. The feeling itself met directly often costs you an afternoon. And here's also one more thing the avoiding costs you, and it's the deepest one. The feeling in that quiet room isn't your enemy. It's a part of you. It's the part that's still keeping count of what matters to you, still grieving what you lost, still longing for what you haven't let yourself want. When you slam the door in the feeling, you're not just avoiding pain, you are abandoning the part of yourself that's trying hardest to reach you. That part has been knocking for a long time through the tiredness and the flatness. Is this it? It isn't trying to destroy you, it's trying to come home. And every time you turn up the noise, you tell it, not now, not yet, not safe. What it's been waiting to hear from you is the opposite. I'm here, you can come in. So, how can you begin? And you should carefully begin in tiny doses, never all at once. And I'm not going to ask you to sit in silence for hours and let everything flood in. So that's not brave, that's overwhelming. And you would never do it twice. So we start very, very low. So like the way you would ease into cold water. So a little at a time. So yeah, here's the practice. When you find yourself in a pocket of quiet and you feel the reach for your phone coming, try this instead. Don't fill it, not for long, just for 2 minutes. Set a timer if it helps, so you know there is an end, so it feels bounded and safe. And in those 2 minutes, don't try to meditate, don't try to clear your mind. Just sit and let yourself notice what's actually there. Is it resentlessness? Is it sadness? An art you can't name? A question? You don't have to do anything with it. You don't have to solve it or understand it or even fix it. You just have to let it be there in the room with you for 2 minutes. Witnessed, acknowledged. And then the timer ends and you go back to your life. That's it. That's the whole practice. 2 minutes, not running. Here's what you will likely discover, okay? The feeling you were so afraid of is not as enormous as the avoiding made it seem. Things tend to look biggest when behind the door. Often, when you finally let yourself feel a sliver of it, your first thought is, oh, that's it? I've been running from that? The avoidance was bigger than the thing. And some weeks it will be more than a sliver. Some weeks, 2 minutes of quiet, and you will find yourself crying and you won't fully know why. That's okay too. People releases feelings through crying. So this is why crying is so important, because this is one big thing your body can do to release feelings. Okay, so when you have the sense that you want to cry, and you can because you are in a safe space, then cry. Let it flow. You will feel so much better after that, okay? And it's nothing wrong with it. So really do that. When you are crying, okay, when you have these feelings, when you let the feelings flow and let them go out of your body, that's not the practice going wrong, okay? That's the practice working, okay? That's the process is working. That's a wave that's been held back for years, finally being allowed to break and then recede, okay? This is important to, let the things go out of your body. And you don't have to face all of it. You don't have to face it today. Yeah. You just have to stop slamming the door. 2 minutes of leaving it open is enough to start. Okay. We are starting here because the part of you in that quiet room was never waiting to overwhelm you. Okay. She was only ever waiting to be let back in. And this is the important thing. Also, I want a short remembering here because also the feelings when they adapt, because you hide them and you buried them, it's not like then it comes through a mindset problem or a sleeping problem. No, it gets worse and worse, and the body tries to release it by back pain, knee pain, hip pain, neck pain, migraines, things like that. So the longer you wait to get let's say rid of the feelings, the worse it gets also for the body itself, okay? So I want to mention this really quick here. Okay. If 3 things stay with you today. 1, busy is a hiding place. Some of your busyness is done to you, but some of it you choose without releasing. Because staying in motion keeps you from feeling what's waiting in the silence, in the stillness. Silentness is, I think, not a word, right? In the stillness. So the fear was never of silence. It's of what's in the room when nothing else is. 2, avoiding the feeling costs more than feeling it. A feeling that's truly felt rises, crests, and passes, even the big ones. A feeling you refuse to feel is the one that stays forever, running in the background, leaking out as tiredness, as flatness, as back pain, or whatever body pain, and that low hum of something not right. The avoiding is the expensive part in, I think, every part. The feeling itself often costs you an afternoon. And 3, begin in tiny doses. Once this week, when you reach for your phone in the quiet, don't fill it for just 2 minutes. Set a timer so it feels safe. Don't fix anything. Just let what's there to be there witnessed. The thing you've been running from is almost always smaller than the running. And the part of you in that quiet room was never waiting to overwhelm you, only to be let back in.
I'm still walking this path too, and I made something for the walk, just for you. No stage, no pedestal. One woman to another. It's in the show notes, whenever you're ready. This was the Dignity Room. Come back soon.